So we have an overreactive immune system. This can lead to inflammation in the skin, can lead to inflammation elsewhere where it doesn't seem like it's completely related, right? Two completely separate systems, but they're not separate. That is the difference between looking at a case from a conventional standpoint versus looking at them from a holistic medicine perspective. Everything is connected. So I'm going to start with something. So we got a lot of questions about allergies, yeast, autoimmune disease, behavior changes, crystals, cancer, urinary problems. What do those all have in common? They might be called different diseases, right? But they actually have something all in common with one another, and that's inflammation. And where does inflammation come from? It has to come from somewhere. It doesn't just start, right? So when I look at a pet and I see some type of inflammation, whether it's an inflamed tumor, whether it's an inflamed bladder, whether it's inflamed skin, whether they're having GI issues, whether they're having itchy skin, whether they're having autoimmune disease, bacterial infections, there's all a component of inflammation in that disease process. And we have to look at where did it start? What happened? Like, why is it there? I always go back to diet. What are you feeding your pets? Are they on a high glycemic index food? What does that mean? So that means something that's rapidly absorbed, high sugar content, typically higher carbohydrate content. Carbs turn into sugar in the body. That's just a fact. And so if we're feeding foods that are being converted into sugar, guess what likes to eat sugar? Yeast. What makes inflammation worse? Sugar. So we get this compounding vicious cycle when we're dealing with allergies and inflammation in general, cancer patients. And one of the things that I always look at is what food are we feeding? Do we have some type of leaky gut going on in our pets? What does leaky gut mean? That means that GI lining is inflamed and there's proteins, food, bacteria, toxins passing through into the bloodstream and stimulating the immune system. So then the immune system goes wild. So we have an overreactive immune system. This can lead to inflammation in the skin, can lead to inflammation elsewhere where it doesn't seem like it's completely related, right? Two completely separate systems, but they're not separate. That is the difference between looking at a case from a conventional standpoint versus looking at them from a holistic medicine perspective. Everything is connected. So what do conventional drugs do? So let's take, for example, we'll use allergies, right? Let's put your pet on a steroid. And a lot of times if your pet has inflammatory bowel disease, same thing. We use steroids, we use immunosuppressives because the immune system is ramped up, it's out of control, the inflammation's out of control. We need to dampen it down, and that's how conventional medicine does it. But the problem with that is that yes, we're dampening down that inflammation in the skin, but where we need to boost local immunity is in the GI lining, the GI tract with leaky gut. So if we suppress the immune system, yeah, your pet feels better, the symptoms go away, but what happens right when you take them off of the drugs? Within like 2 weeks, symptoms usually come back because we didn't fix the root cause of that problem. So when I look at pets, especially with allergies, these are the things that we have to look at. There's what we call immune dysregulation. The body's gone haywire, and we have to use different things to calm things down, but also to boost certain local immune systems back up. So then we go to extreme cases like Penthagus. So Sherry asked about Penthagus in her pet. Penthagus is an autoimmune disease. It causes severe inflammation. It can affect the eyes, the nose. It can affect other parts of the skin. They can get a lot of like crusting, secondary bacterial infections, and it's the immune system's gone haywire. So for those cases, a lot of times those pets are going on steroids, cyclosporin. However, what are we doing for the gut health? We're destroying it with the steroids and the immunosuppressives. We aren't treating that. So that's why your pet has to stay on these drugs or else they get worse. Or also the other thing is too, is when you take them off of these things, like it's not healed. We didn't heal the underlying problem. And what can happen over time is it gets worse and worse and worse. And we have to add more drugs, more drugs, more drugs. Then we see side effects and we go, is this the disease or is this a side effect to the drug? Don't know. Let's add another drug, right? And that's how conventional medicine works. Now, with holistic medicine, we can use herbs, we can use plants that actually do those multiple effects that I was talking about, where we need to boost the local immune system in the gut. We need to boost the lining of the GI tract so that the inflammation calms down. We also need to calm down the peripheral immune system. So if the skin's inflamed, yeah, we don't want to increase blood flow necessarily to that area and cause any issues with that. So these are things that we have to look at. And that's where herbal medicine is so different from conventional medicine. And that's why we can use it alongside conventional. So especially for these extreme cases like Penthagus, for inflammatory bowel disease. So like your dog or your cat gets diarrhea and they're not doing well. I don't want to take them off conventional drugs, but what I want to do is take them down to a dose where we can see how they're responding. So we can see some symptoms. We might see some symptoms, and then we can use herbs to help heal and treat the imbalance, the problem, the root cause, and we can see if those herbs are working. Because we've got that drug dose at a point where, yes, there are going to be some breakthroughs, but we're doing that on purpose so that we can help the pet and know that the supplements, the diet, and the herbs are working for fixing allergies, fixing the autoimmune disease problem, that it's supporting those systems. Hey pet parents, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, would you please hit the subscribe button below and post any questions you have down below. Also, if you'd like to join us on our next live training to learn more about holistic health in your pets, then click the link to join our Natural Pet Tribe to gain access to live videos every month with me and the ability to ask me questions. I'd love to give you more education and interaction to help your pets thrive naturally. Until next time, please subscribe and share this video with other pet parents that may need help and guidance to help their furry family members live a long and vibrant life. Thanks again for being a part of our community.